Hey everyone, and thanks for jumping back into the cryptoverse. Today we're going to talk about Chainlink and its native token Link. If you guys like the content, subscribe to the channel, give the video a thumbs up, and also check out the Telegram channel, which you can find a link to in the description below. So one of the things we have argued for a long time on the channel is that Link is in fact a coin that is too risky not to hold. Okay? And of course, this has gotten a lot of flack, especially when it's capitulating like this. But days like this are perfect examples of why Link really can help offset negative Bitcoin volatility. If you go back and look at coin market cap, down in the last 24 hours, Bitcoin coming in at 9%. Last 24 hours, Link is up 15%. So this is a good example. Last summer, when Link was doing all this nonsense and going crazy, we were saying it back then, and people really liked it because Bitcoin wasn't doing as much, or wasn't doing much of anything at the time. But then when it's reversed, people then can get skeptical of Link. But again, this is a great showcase essentially of Link once again coming through in the clutch and showing that on negative days for Bitcoin, days where the volatility of Bitcoin is taking it to the downside, we can see Link bailing people out. What did I tell you guys over here in August? I mean, if you guys have been following the channel for a while, we were following Link back when it was like $1 and $2, way back over here in March, and well before March, in fact, back in 2019 as well. We saw it go up to 20, and you guys know I did sell a decent, most of my stack was gone by the time we were at 1850. And I started buying again at around $7. This again was all on the premium list, into the cryptoverse.com. And I was essentially buying here, here, and through here. And I stopped buying around $12 or so. And I mean, of course, in hindsight, I might say, oh, well, of course you're going to say that. Again, this is stuff we covered extensively on the channel, so go back and watch the prior videos where we talked about this stuff, as well as the risk level on Link USD needing to be below 0.5. And on each of these wicks, it went below 0.5. So, with that said, where are we now? Well, again, it's all about how you get to the price. Okay, it's all about how you get there. Back over here, a $20 Link became bearish for me. Not because I didn't think that Link would trend up over the duration of the market cycle, but just that it was up 10x in a relatively short period of time, and it was time to take some off the table. However, a $20 Link today, in my opinion, is not as extended as it was back then. Okay, it was not as extended as it was back then in August of 2020. So we'll do another video later where we'll break down the Link charts, the custom charts that I talk about a lot. I'm sure you guys are going to want to see those, so make sure you subscribe and turn on your notifications to see that video later, because it should be quite informative. Now we're watching Link, and the price is around $20. We know that we talked before about it, that Link does improve your risk-adjusted returns. By holding Bitcoin and Link, you are able to in fact improve your risk-adjusted returns, or your Sharpe ratio, or your Sortino ratio, which only punishes negative volatility. So Link helps to improve all of those. One of the things I was playing around with earlier was just kind of looking at our trend line that we had. It seems like more or less we've been in this trend line for a while. Except for the fact that we, dipped down below it for a period of time in late December and early January. But now, of course, the question is, are we simply just getting back on track and going to do something like that, or are we going to break out and go into full price discovery mode? One interesting thing that you guys are, I'm sure, going to want to see an update on is the idea of that textbook bubble we saw Link against Bitcoin in. Against USD, Link has been phenomenal. I make no mistake about it. Against Bitcoin, one of the things we were talking about was this general trend here. Let me move this. Was this general trend, and this we can call, say, the mean. One of the things we can maybe do is show a textbook bubble. So right, this is a textbook bubble. takeoff for sell-off, media attention, enthusiasm, public greed, delusion, new paradigm, denial, return to normal, fear, capitulation, and despair. Now let's go back and look at Link. So this was more or less the mean, okay, going up on the mean. We went into this major blow off top. We had a dead cat bounce back up to 150 Satoshis, and then ultimately back down into the despair phase, okay? And so, I mean, depending on exactly how we draw this line, we could say that, in fact, we are starting to get back on track. Now, of course, there's some wiggle room here in exactly how we draw the line, but it appears that perhaps the despair phase, this was, in fact, the despair phase like we talked about. So, ideally, we would, at the very least, get back on track. And this would be getting back on track. It doesn't necessarily have to be an explosive move against Bitcoin. It could just be a slow, systematic move up against Bitcoin for months, potentially, before going into another bubble. We don't want to get ahead of ourselves. As we always say, don't schedule your Forbes interview just yet, okay? Be patient, be pragmatic, be systematic about how you manage the market. As I said before, a $20 link today is not the same as a $20 link over here. We've come down, we've consolidated for a while, and we're trending back up. Now, one of the things we want to look at as well is, and we've covered this before, are just simply the time between peaks. Okay, let's just look at the time between peaks. So, and remember, Link has a way of moving when a lot of the market isn't moving, not just Bitcoin, because we know that a lot of the market does move with Bitcoin. Link kind of has a mind of its own. That's why I like it so much. But if you measure from peak to peak, which of course is somewhat dubious to do, but 200% over 500 something days, and then 350% over 400 days, you can see that from peak to peak, we're seeing shortening cycles and increasing returns, coincidentally. Some people will find that funny. And from here, what if we just speculate on this trend continuing? Again, I have no problem with other types of cycle moves. We just follow the data. And so far, this is all we have to work with. Again, measuring peaks is somewhat dubious. But if we did, we're sometimes, we get a little, a little bit wild sometimes. And we'll do things like this. Let's suppose it goes up. This was 200%, 300%, 550 days, 400 days. Let's say 300 days for the next one. If it were to increase 300 days, and let's say it went up 400% from peak to peak, guess where that would put it? A humble $100 link, which would mean it would essentially go up another 5x if, in fact, that trend were to continue, which would be pretty impressive if it could do that. And if it did that, it would imply a move maybe early this summer. One thing that's interesting is that the 2019 link peak happened in June. The 2020 peak happened in August. So far, at least, this one happened in January, but the last two peaks for Link were summer peaks. So maybe we'll see a nice trend up of Link over the next several months, taking us back into the summer, and hopefully we'll see it, reach three figures. Obviously, it's a bold, it'd be a bold move for Link to go up 5x from its prior all-time high, but if any altcoin can do it, Link would be one of them, right? Link would be one of them. The reason we say that is simply because if you take an entire look at the market, how many coins are well above their prior all-time high? How many coins reached their prior all-time high in summer of 2019 and have gone above it? How many coins have not only reached their prior all-time high from 2018, but are now over 12x above it? 13x above it. Not many coins can say they're 13 times higher than their all-time high from 2018, and this is one of the reasons why I love Link. And again, it's all about having racehorses or having donkeys. Go with the ones, okay, it's not financial advice, but I personally like to go with the ones that continue to perform, continue to give me good returns. Yes, there's downside. However, again, if you follow the channel, on the premium list into the cryptoverse.com, we took full advantage of this move, right? We took full advantage of this move. We were selling all the way up to the top. I didn't get the top perfect. It was 1850. So what? And then we started buying back in down here. And this is all about helping to, move into the market when the risk is low And it took a lot of patience. There were a lot of people wanting to buy, and I said, well, the USD risk is still not quite low enough. Finally moving back in, and then we even had a week or two to move back in over here. So it wasn't just like these daily things for a while. We actually had a week or two to move back in, and now you can see we are right back putting in new all-time highs. It looks like our new all-time high is $22.76. Hopefully we will trend much higher than this. Of course, it will depend on Bitcoin. If Bitcoin continues this little game where it bleeds a little bit and then recovers, I think Link will continue to trend up. However, if Bitcoin has an absolute catastrophic capitulation, then of course, while Link can help improve your returns, it will negatively react to an extremely volatile Bitcoin. A slow bleeding Bitcoin, fine. Link doesn't care about that. A sideways moving Bitcoin, Link doesn't care about that either, right? Don't even wake up for that. Volatility of Bitcoin to the upside or the downside really quickly, yeah, Link will pay attention to that, and so should you. So pay attention to Bitcoin to get an idea of what Link could be capable of. Going back and looking at this on a log scale, let's throw back on our bull market support band for the Link Bitcoin valuation and see exactly what the damage was. So let's look at that. We're going to remove this, and then what we're going to do is we're going to go over to a weekly time frame. So this is our bull market support band for Link Bitcoin. And you can see right now we're still relatively far down below it. And before we've come below it as well, but this was a fairly substantial move below. If we take measured moves from the 20-week, which is the red line, we've seen drops before, 26% below. Here we had a drop below of around 40%. This one reached around 56%. And this is one of those things, right? We simply do not know how Link will behave in a bull market. We just do not know. We've seen how it behaves in a Bitcoin bear market. We've seen how it behaves in a Bitcoin accumulation phase. In a Bitcoin bull market, we are just simply unsure because we're not sure over the macro scale, will it keep pace with a bullish Bitcoin? And I think we still need to wait to see how the entire market cycle transpires. So far during the Bitcoin bull market that we can argue started around May or so, it went up and then it came back down. And so the Link Bitcoin valuation hasn't really changed a whole lot since arguably the Bitcoin bull market started. During that time, there was a lot of volatility, and maybe we're gearing up for another move, and hopefully we'll get back on track. Of course, we have a long way to go to get back on track. One of the other indicators we sometimes look at, we haven't looked at it in a while because we certainly got off course, and we said that it's possible we get off course here. In fact, if there's any indicator that I have that I said we might get off course on, it would be this one. And the reason is because these are the Link Bitcoin exponential fit bands. And it assumes that Link will maintain an exponential move against Bitcoin forever, which we said we know it won't last forever. We've had a capitulation and we are significantly down below it. Maybe we'll get back on track. Wouldn't that be nice if we could get back on track and continue to push Link much higher this market cycle? To give you an idea, the Link Bitcoin valuation at the peak was around 170,000 Satoshis. However, we know that the price of Bitcoin has changed significantly since then. If the price of Bitcoin were to remain invariant, which it won't, let's just say it were $36,000, 35,000, so let's say 36,000, and the Link valuation against Bitcoin reached, so right now we're at 56,000, let's say it reached 170,000, which would be 0.0017, so times 0.0017, that would actually put Link, for it to get back to this level, it would actually put Link at around a $60 Link, if in fact it were to go to the same Bitcoin valuation that it reached in the summer. We have a long way to go. We have a long way to go to potentially reach that milestone, but if we do reach it, we'll look back at these videos and say, you know what? It definitely was not the cool thing to do by a lot of people's standards to be buying these dips, but Link continues to perform and continues to to give people returns and continue to bail people out. I mean, this is not financial advice, but one of the things we said back here was if you were the dumb money coming in at this point, and we did streams on it and videos on it at the time, we said if you are the money coming in at the top, probably dumb money. However, Link has a way of bailing people out, and you've been bailed out, my friend, because the most you could have bought back then was around $20.72 or so. We've already surpassed that, almost $23. Link has already bailed you out, so it's done. What we said that it likely will do, continue to bail people out. Let's look at CoinMarketCap. Let's update this. You guys know my top 5 coins are Bitcoin, Ethereum, Link, ADA, and DOT. Link has been lagging behind for a while. You can't really blame it because, you know, it moved up like 1,000%, 10,000% in the not so distant future. If you take a move, a measured move from the bottom, in fact, back in 2018, it's up a modest 15,000%. A modest 15,000%, right? So, you know, looking at it now, it's coming in hot in 8th place. It's got its eyes on Bitcoin Cash. It's got its eyes on Litecoin. So I'm looking for Link to hopefully flip both of these, which both of these are very much correlated to the price of Bitcoin. So watch for Link to potentially move above Bitcoin Cash and Litecoin if these market conditions continue for too much longer. And if it does, then my top 5 coins will be in the top 6. We don't count Tether, but certainly XRP is coming in at number 3. So then our lineup will hopefully be Bitcoin, Ethereum, DOT, Cardano, and Chainlink, and hopefully Polkadot, Cardano, and Chainlink can systematically move into collectively the top 5. 4 of them are already in the top 5. We need Link to pick up the slack, and hopefully that's exactly what it's doing now. As you can see, over the last 24 hours, Link is up 20%, DOT's up 5%, friendly competition. You know, Stellar's down 10, Bitcoin Cash is down 10, Litecoin's down 8. You can see here how correlated a lot of these coins are to Bitcoin. You know, Bitcoin's -9, Ethereum's -5, XRP -7, Cardano's even -4, Litecoin -8, Bitcoin Cash -9, and so on and so forth. Link plus 20. So, of course, all this is fun and games as long as the Bitcoin dominance. You know, if it continues this trend of going down, maybe we're ushering in altcoin season. That would be nice to see Link reclaim some of the ground it has lost. So we'll be sure to follow that. Make sure you guys subscribe. Let's go for 100,000 subscribers. We're going to be doing more videos on Chainlink in the coming weeks, especially if these moves continue. I mean, even if there's a capitulation by the entire altcoin market, we'll still follow Link and we'll regroup and try to push back higher. But in the short term, subscribe. Turn on notifications, give the video a thumbs up. Remember, we do have the premium list if you want access to how I'm managing the market into the cryptoverse.com. That'll wrap it up for the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you next time. Bye.